Levi here, the Outdoor Cowboy, and welcome back to the Outdoor Cowboy YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about how rope and any kind of cordage can help you when you're in the outdoors. We're going to be going through some fun and unique ways that rope like this can help you, all the way from keeping you safe to holding your gear and a bunch of others in between. So hopefully I've roped you in for this video and saddled up for the ride. So I think that hands down one of the most important tools and most versatile tools you can have when you're in the outdoors is a knife, which is not what we're talking about in this video. We have plenty of videos where we talk about knives, knife safety, how you can use them, different kinds. Our knife basics video where we went through a bunch of things will be up in the top corner of the video. So if you want to learn more about knives, go watch that one. But behind knives, I think that some sort of rope or cord is one of the most versatile tools that you can have when you're in the outdoors. Obviously there's a lot of important things to have, and a rope might be something that you don't use at all on a camping trip. But then another one, you might have to use it a bunch. So I've got some paracord here, which is probably one of the most common things you can have when you're in the outdoors. And it's definitely earned that with just how strong it is, how light it is, and how small it is. But we'll also be using other kinds of rope, because you can even use twine like this. If you carry this, it also doubles as a great fire starter, or some thicker climbing style rope like this. Any kind of rope or twine can be used in a lot of different ways. And so I'm going to talk about 7 ways that I think rope is really cool to be used for. But really, there's probably an infinite amount of ways that you can use rope when you're in the outdoors. So I just wanted to make a quick and fun video where we go through some ways. Some of them might be for emergencies. Some of them might just be help keeping you safe or carrying some gear, anything like that that can help you when you're in the outdoors. And a little while ago, we went through knots. We made a video about my favorite knots, the ones that I think are most useful for in the outdoors. And pretty much those knots that we covered are the only knots that I use when I'm in the outdoors. And those knots are also really important to know before you talk about the uses that rope has, because most of the time you're going to be using the rope to secure things or tying knots around it or making it so you can undo the knot after some time. So go watch that video if you haven't seen it. It's super awesome. We cover some of the best knots using rope like this. And then once you know that one, this video will be even better, because then you can use those two to just have a ton of uses for rope when you're in the outdoors. And before we jump into our ways to use rope, I just wanted to point out a fun way that I have that I carry rope with me at all times. In one of our early videos, we restored and made this hatchet, which I said is my dream survival hatchet, just because it looks awesome. I even made this leather sheath for it, and then we restored the head, which it is quite dirty now since I've used it a lot, but we added a wooden handle. It had just like a plastic one that was falling apart. So we added a wooden handle, and then I wrapped it in paracord like this. And I think I calculated this is about 20 to 30 feet of paracord. It makes a great handle, it has good grip, and it's comfortable. But if I ever needed it in a survival situation, I could just cut the top or the bottom and then unravel this, and I would have some paracord with me. So it's not always necessarily having a big roll like this. We have this roll from one of our first survival videos where we made almost like a hammock style shelter out of a bunch of paracord. So that one's really fun, but there are a lot of ways that you can carry rope or paracord, anything like that, for situations where you might need it without just carrying a giant roll. So get creative, have fun. These are great. I also love paracord bracelets. They carry a couple feet of paracord. I think they're sweet, and they can be great to use in a situation where you need it. So rope's super important to have when you're in the outdoors. Can save you a lot of situations. Now let's jump into our 7 ways that you can use rope when you're in the outdoors. All right, and our first way that we're gonna use rope is to hold our water bottle. So I have my Nalgene here, which has our awesome Outdoor Cowboy sticker on them. I love my Nalgene, I think it's just awesome. But we're gonna talk about how to hold this. Obviously some water bottles like this Nalgene have a loop, and that can be great to hold on to. But this method that we're gonna talk about works for water bottles that don't have this. It even works for disposable water bottles. And it's just a nicer way to carry your water bottle so you don't have to carry it around. Obviously, if it's in your backpack or something, you can carry it, but sometimes I'll set up camp and leave my stuff there and want to go hike and explore around just for a little bit, and I'll want to take my water bottle with me, but I don't always have a great way to hold it. So this can be a great way to make it so you can carry a water bottle, and we'll show a couple different ways that you can do it. All right, so for this, obviously we need our water bottle right there, and then I'm just going to be using some paracord for this. We've got about 5 feet of paracord, and that'll be plenty for us. So what I like to do, put the ends together and then pull it out so you can find where the middle's at, and then you'll throw that towards you. And we're gonna wanna make 2 circles. You can either make 2 circles, or a quick way, flip it up just like this and then cross them over. So we've got 2 layers down here, 1 layer up here. For this next step, I've seen a bunch of different ways you can do it, and they all seem to work pretty good. But the way I like to do it is I will cross these 2 over, our 2 loose ends, so that it looks like this. We've got our double layer here, our single loop, and then our cross. And then I will reach over the cross and grab this middle one and then kind of taco it like that. So there's these 2 like loops on both sides that are holding our strings, and then we have 3 layers on the bottom, 2 layers on the top. We'll put our water bottle there in the middle, wrap our cord around it, and then you just pull it tight just like that, and it will hold your water bottle. So just like that, we got a secure loop around our water bottle so we don't have to hold it. And you can either just hold this rope, you could even throw it over your shoulder like this and carry it. Or a fun thing you can do is just tie a simple knot with your 2 loose ends. And then just like that, you can toss it over your shoulder or something, carry your water bottle around. Kind of like a little satchel, just super easy to do. Then your hands are free, your water bottle is just there and ready for when you need to get some water and keep going on your adventure. So that's our first way to use our rope, is to carry our water bottle around. Now let's move on to our next way. All right, and our second way is super important. Our first one is really fun, can be useful for hiking and stuff like that. Tying up your water bottle can be a great thing. But our second one is one of the reasons that I make sure I always have rope with me, and that's for first aid. So we're going to be talking about how you can use rope for a couple things in first aid. Obviously, first aid is super expansive, so there's a ton that goes into it, but we're going to be talking about 2 things that I think are great uses of rope. And those are going to be using rope to help create a splint for like a broken leg or something like that, and then also using rope to help mobilize a joint. So we're going to be making like a sling out of rope. So those are the things we're going to be talking about real quick on ways that rope can help you with first aid. So for this first one, we're going to be talking about how to stabilize a limb or a leg, something like that. You hurt it, you broke a bone, anything like that. So for this example, we're going to say that I broke my leg. Luckily, not true right now, but that's what we're going to be talking about and how rope can help. So I've got 2 sticks right here that are nice and straight. So these are what I'm going to use to splint my leg, make it so it's nice and secure. So put them on either side just like this, and then we've got some more of our paracord. And we're just going to wrap this around pretty tight here at the top and the bottom. Do a couple loops around, tie a good knot, whatever you want. I'm basically tying a shoelace just for this example, but just like that, we tie another one of these at the bottom. This would help stabilize our leg. Obviously not enough that we can walk on this leg, especially if we have a clean break in our leg, but this will stabilize it enough that we can limp out of here. Might be able to put a little bit of weight on it, but not too much, and it will at least help us to be able to survive and get back to a location where we can get some medical help. So just like that, our rope is a great use for helping stabilize our leg with the help of a couple sticks that we found. And then our second way for first aid that a rope can help is making a sling. So we're gonna say that I hurt my shoulder or something like that in some way. And these can honestly be pretty simple. There's different ways you can do it, and you can make like a lot better ones. But even just very simply, you just tie a knot in one end so that you can have a loop in your rope, loop it around your head and then around your arm just like this. I probably should have made this a little bit tighter, hold a little bit closer. But you just put your arm in like this, and it will keep it from moving around too much. Obviously, if you have some help, you could do like another lap around your arm and around your body. That'd be a great option to secure it a little bit more. But if it's just hurting from movement and you're trying to make it so it doesn't move, a simple sling just like this, just making a loop out of rope can be a great option. Help stabilize it, make it so you can get out somewhere where you can get proper medical care and get a real sling or a cast or something on it. Help stabilize it even better. So those are 2 really important ways that rope can help us when we're in the outdoors with first aid. Hopefully never have to use these, but it's important to always have some rope with you just in case you do. So that's our second way rope can help. Let's move on to our next way. All right, our next way that rope can help you when you're in the outdoors is going to be tying up your food up into a tree. Often called a bear bag, but really it's to keep any critters away, even all the way down to ants and stuff like that that'll smell your food and want to come into your shelter, all the way up to a bear. Which I'm not really sure how good the term bear bag is, because I feel like my body is a bear bag to a bear. So I don't know if I should tie a hammock up in the tree really high next to my food to keep me safe as well. But I've never had any problems with it, but it's really important to do just to make it so you don't have any more problems. We did a week-long trip in the Boundary Waters, which is up in Minnesota, and it was super awesome. I plan on doing one here in the near future and videoing it. It was super cool, but we obviously had to carry our food with us that entire week-long trip. And so we had a big bag that we tied up every night with all of our food to keep all animals and stuff away. So it can be really important because the smell will attract animals. And if they do smell it, you'd rather them be attracted to a bag that's hanging up in a tree that they can't get to than your backpack that's sitting right next to you in your shelter. So we've got one of my dry bags here with a bunch of stuff in it that we're going to be talking about how to tie it up into the tree. We're not going to do it super high today because I'm not actually going to leave any food here, but in reality, you want to make sure it's high enough that a bear, which get pretty big, can't reach it from the ground, but also can't reach it from the trees. So we've got a rope here, and we're gonna be tying up our bag into this branch that's hanging right above us. So we're gonna be tying ours on this branch right here, which obviously isn't very high. A bear could definitely do that. So when you tie it up, you want a branch a lot bigger than that. And the first step is gonna be getting the rope over the branch itself, which can be pretty tricky, especially if it's really high. So some things you can do are tie the end of your rope to a rock or a stick or something like that and throw it over the branch. It doesn't have to be looped around or anything fancy like that. It's just got to be over. So that's the first step. Somehow get it over the branch. So I could probably throw it over, but to be more realistic, I tie it to this rock and we will just toss her over just like that. So now we can untie our rock and then we'll tie this end just to the bag that we want to hang up. So we'll just tie it just like this. Obviously you want it closed and as compacted as you can get. So we'll tie this end to our bag just like this. Just a simple knot. You want to make sure that you can get your food the next morning. So just tie a simple knot in there, and then pretty much just like a pulley, we will pull this side of our rope to raise our bear bag up just like this. And then you'll want to go to the base of the tree. This can be the same tree or even a different tree, but just somewhere where you can tie a good knot where it's not going to let your food bag down, but it's also away from it. Nothing can climb up it or anything like that. So we're just going to come down here and just tie a simple knot like that. And just like that, our bag is going to be up in the tree. We got easy knots on both ends. It's up there, so nothing's going to be able to grab it. No ants or anything like that are going to be able to get to it, or small creatures, rodents, anything like that. And our food will be secure. And just like that, our rope helps save the day. So tying up your food like this is the third way that rope can help you in the outdoors. Now let's move on to the next one. All right, and our next way to use rope is more in the line of fixing your gear, fixing your equipment. And that's going to be using it just as like a backpack strap or a strap to just hold things. And this can be used, I think, in two ways. One of them is just fixing your backpack strap. If it tears, if it rips, anything like that, you can use rope to either like tie both ends together and make it be kind of fixed. Or if it rips completely off, you can tie around part of your pack and make a whole new backpack strap that kind of matches your other one. Obviously not going to be a permanent thing, but just to finish your trip, finish your adventure, anything like that, it can be a great use of rope to make backpack straps just to fix your gear so that you can carry everything you need. Obviously your backpack is super important because everything you need is in there, and if you rip a strap or something like that, it can be really hard, especially if you're going on a multiple day thing. Your pack might weigh 30, 40, 50 pounds, and that's going to be really hard on one shoulder to just carry it. It's going to put more stress on that strap and it might break as well. So being able to use some rope to fix your gear can be really important. And then the second way is basically creating a whole new backpack. So I have my Outdoor Cowboy hoodie, and I wanted to see if with some rope we could kind of make a makeshift backpack with it, just to carry a couple standard things that it needs for survival. I thought it'd be fun to try to make a backpack out of just rope and a sweatshirt, and just utilizing things that have many purposes for them. So let's see what kind of backpack we can make. All right, so we got our hoodie there that we're gonna try to make a backpack out of, and then we're gonna be using just a little bit of paracord to see what we can do. And then we're gonna make it so it has to carry the essentials, which is gonna be our knife, our ferro rod, and our water bottle. Obviously a lot more things you need, but I just thought this would be fun. All right, I think our first step, I'm just gonna take a couple inches and I'm gonna tie off the head. I think I'm gonna try to use the hoodie like actually as a backpack. So I'm just gonna kind of fold this up into the hood. This is gonna be the bottom, and we'll just wrap some string around it so that nothing can get out of there. So just like that. Doesn't look pretty, but that's not what we're going for. And then I think I'm gonna try to use the arms as kind of my backpack straps, but I think I'm gonna need a connector. So I'm gonna cut probably 2 foot piece off or so for each side, just like that. Mirror the other side. So what we'll do is with one side, we'll tie a quick knot just around the sleeve itself. And then we will go to the side of the hoodie, just this corner, and tie a knot as well. All right, and then we will toss our stuff inside the hoodie and see how our backpack is. Well, just like that. Got a nice little backpack, got all our stuff in there, and we're able to use the rope to make some backpack straps. It's nice and warm because it's the best hoodie ever, so go pick yourself one up. Also doubles as a backpack. But just like that, you can get creative with rope, and because it can tie to things and secure things, you can make a lot of stuff. So our fourth way to use rope is just like that, making improvised backpack straps, either making a full backpack out of something like this. I just thought making it out of a hoodie would be fun because often I'm wearing that when I'm in the outdoors, and it's good to know that in a situation, if I had a little bit of paracord, I could make a backpack that could at least carry some stuff for a little while, or you can use it to repair your backpack if your normal backpack strap breaks or rips or anything like that. So that's our fourth awesome use. Let's move on to our next one. All right, and our fifth unique way that you can use rope when you're in the outdoors is to bundle firewood. I think this one is awesome because oftentimes when you're in the outdoors, Obviously you're not bringing packaged firewood or anything like that with you. So you're out collecting fallen trees, wood, sticks, whatever you can find to build your fire, and that's just awesome. But sometimes it can be hard to carry. It might just be awkward if there's like lots of different shapes and different things like that, so it can be hard to carry. Maybe you have a lot of it, or maybe it's even wet and you don't want it to get you wet while you're carrying it. Using some rope just to make a quick bundle around firewood can be a great option for making it easier to carry. So let's just say you got this random bundle of wood. I just collected a bunch of random things. They can be bigger than this, bigger in diameter, bigger in length. They can be any shape, but I just collected a couple just for the example, and these ones are frozen into the snow, so I don't really want to carry them because they'd probably seep into my clothes or get me wet, something like that. So let's use our rope to make a bundle around this firewood. And there are two ways to do this. We'll start with just the most simple way, and then we'll start with probably my favorite way. So the first way is just going to be, obviously, kind of stack your wood, get your rope underneath it. And if you're planning ahead to do like a lot of wood and you don't want to pick it up, you can also just like set your rope onto the ground and then stack your wood on top of it. That's a great way that you can already get your bundle started. So first way is just going to be simple. Just wrap it all like that. And then you want to get it pretty tight, so try to get it to stack as well as you can. And then just tie a good knot around it just like that. And you can just pick your whole bundle of wood up with a rope like that. So this rope can be easy to carry. Again, you can toss it over your shoulder or something like that, similar to the water bottle. And then you don't have to touch the wet wood or anything like that. Carry it over to your camp, drop it, undo the rope, and go get some more firewood. So that's the simplest way to do it. My favorite way to do it is very similar, but what you're gonna do is wrap it more to one end. So we've got it on this side just like that, and we tie a knot. And then we've got the other end of our rope, and we're gonna wrap it around this other side of our bundle. And then we've got this loop now that we can carry, so we can carry some good heavy stuff with our rope. So just like that, we collected some good wood, got it all tied up in our rope. We can throw this over our shoulder now. Again, our hands are free if we need to hike around or climb stuff, and we can carry our bundle of wood with us. So that's the fifth way to use rope when you're in the outdoors, bundling wood just like this. Now let's move on to the next way. All right, and our next way to use rope in the outdoors is using it to keep you safe. Really using it kind of as like a step aid or something to help you just get around safely. So right now we're on a super steep incline and there's snow and ice, it's super slippery, and I want to get down, but I want to get down safely, especially if you got a big backpack on or anything like that. It can be really easy to slip, and then you can have a lot bigger problems as you're sliding down. You might rip some of your gear, or you could hurt yourself pretty bad. So it's really important to be really careful when you're in the outdoors. And how you use the rope is going to vary a lot based on what situation you're in, but there's a lot of things you can do with the rope. You can either tie yourself to some things to make sure you don't fall off. You can even take the approach of those that summit big mountains, that they tie themselves to another person that they're with so that they keep each other safe. You can even make loops or like a daisy chain like we made in our knots video and use it kind of as a ladder. Or you can do what I'm kind of doing and kind of do like a simple belay system as you're going down the mountain. So that's what we're gonna do. So we've got the end of our rope, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap it around this tree that we have. And then since I wanna get down, but I'm not gonna be coming back up, obviously don't tie it to the tree or anything like that. We want it to be able to move just like this. This can be done around rocks, anything like that. Just make sure it's real secure and can hold you. And then we're gonna wrap the rope around us. And I'm gonna tie a bow line, which we talked about in our knots video as well. And I talked about how it can be a great knot for holding your body weight because it will hold, it won't slip out. It's super easy to tie, you can tie it really fast. So tie it around our body just like that. And then what we're gonna do is as we go down the mountain, we're just gonna let this other end of our rope kind of slide out of our hand, and we'll be able to safely make it down. Just have to be really careful when you're in the outdoors. Obviously the outdoors are unforgiving, but this can be a great way because once you're down, you just pull this end of the rope all the way around and it will loop back around, or untie yourself and pull the end that you had, and then you'll have your rope at the bottom and you'll be down there safe. So that's the sixth way that rope can help us when we're in the outdoors. Now let's move on to the last one. All right, and our last use for rope when we're in the outdoors is just to pull and carry and move heavy and big things. And this one is vague intentionally just because there are so many different uses and needs for something like this when you're in the outdoors. So it'll be up to your needs, up to your preferences on when you use this, but even just this log behind me is an example. This log could be the great start to a shelter or a wall, or it could be part of a reflector wall for a fire to make your fire more effective and give you more heat, or it could be part of a wind block, anything like that, or it could be even used for firewood. So this could be a great option to grab our rope, just wrap it around it somewhere that'll stay good, and then throw it over our shoulder and pull it to where we want it to go. So those are a couple uses. Another great use, if you're out going camping and you're carrying a tent with you, or sometimes you want to carry a stove with you or anything like that, that can be too much, either too big or too heavy to put in a backpack. And so you might want to use a sled, and a sled's a great option. You can toss more stuff in it, and then you take your rope, tie it to the sled, and then you can either throw it over your shoulder, make a loop to put your arm through, or you could even make backpack straps similar to how we did with the hoodie and wrap it around you and pull it to wherever you want it to go. So just some awesome things like that. You can even use it similar to how we tied up our food bag, how we wrapped it around the tree and kind of used it as a pulley system. You could even do that to lift heavy things if you wanted to. They're all just ways that you can use rope to carry, lift, move heavy things that can benefit you when you're in the outdoors. So that right there is 7 of my favorite, just like fun and unique and important ways that you can use rope when you're in the outdoors. With these 7 ways, we covered a huge span of different uses, from keeping us safe by helping us get down a mountain or helping us walk, helping us with our shelter, carrying heavy things, helping us with our fire by bundling firewood, or keeping us safe from animals by tying our food up in a tree, or as simple as making a way that we can carry our water bottle when we don't have anything else to carry it with. Rope has so many uses, and that's why I said behind a knife, it's one of the most important things when you're in the outdoors, because like a knife, they both just have so many different ways that they can help. That's not just their regular thing that people think of. There are so many other uses of ropes and cordage and twine that I didn't even cover, because there really are so many. So comment down below some of your favorite ways that you've used rope before in the outdoors, whether it's like one of the things that we covered in a situation or using rope in a different way. So there really are just so many uses when you're in the outdoors, and so that just makes it so much more important that you have rope when you're in the outdoors. And other than tying our food up in a tree, all of these options really just used a couple feet of rope, and so you really don't have to have a lot with you, especially for the emergency ones like the first aid stuff. You don't need to have a ton with you, so it doesn't need to take up like a huge amount of your pack. And even paracord, that roll I have is 200 feet, and it only is about that big. So you can carry a lot with you. Just find the rope that works best for you, that can hold a lot of weight, that's going to be resistant to cutting or wear, so that you can be prepared for anything when you're in the outdoors. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found some new ways that you can use rope, or that it sparked your imagination for other ways that you can use it that we didn't cover in this video. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, thank you so much for the support on this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. If you liked this video, make sure to check out the Outdoor Cowboy YouTube channel. We've got new videos every week, survival adventures, camping projects, tool restorations, and a whole bunch more. Hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.